This morning we've got all the cabinets, and all we need to do now is get them onto the wall. So I'll go through all the steps as I'm hanging them up, and I'll show you what I'm using and how I'm doing it. So let's get into it. So to get started, I'll put a line at 54.5. Now what I'll do is I'll level that line across, and then I'll see how it looks to the floor. See if it essentially stays 54.5. Or if it gets smaller, then I might want to move that line a little bit higher. That way I know at least at the lowest spot I have 54.5. And then we'll check it going this way. I'm going to check this side wall first before I go making a line on the other wall. So I'm glad I took some measurements because this corner over here doesn't even have 54 inches. Now take in mind, I started with 54.5 inches. So this corner out here is actually higher by almost 5/8 of an inch. So over this roughly 12 feet, not even 12 feet, it settles 5/8 of an inch. So that's quite a bit of settlement. So what I'm going to do is raise this line up just a little bit, and then I'll translate that line across. And then we'll take that line over here and check it on the other side. This is 55 5/8. So like 54 7/8. That is out quite a bit. I mean, that's 5/8 just in the 6 feet. It's going to be a lot of shimming with these lower cabinets, because by the time you get over to this cabinet, which it'll go to about here, I mean, it will be over an inch higher than the starting cabinet over here in this corner. So it's, wow, what a difference. I'm just going to check for square in this corner just to see if it is, and I'll check the walls and see how plumb they are. I'll just give you a closer look here at this square. I mean, you can see my finger here. And that's only 1 foot and 2 foot out. So I really think this interior wall is grossly out of square. So now the wall itself looks pretty plumb. I mean, it's off a little, but very tolerable. So what I'm going to do is assume that this wall is accurate, because over here on this wall, you'll never even see that we're shimming them out, because a fridge will hide all the ends of this cabinet line. Alright, the last part, I swear, is that I need to find where the studs are. Well, studs, they're really just one-by skids. But I need to at least confirm where they are, and then I can get some measurements and be able to translate it to the cabinet. So you're definitely getting your money's worth here. I hate to talk so much, but it looks like there's ribbing that goes horizontal, not vertical ribbing. So that's certainly a problem when I want to go 6 inches higher. Normally, I would screw on the top of the cabinet. That way you don't see the screws. But what I'm going to have to do is come down 6 inches so I know I hit some wood. So I'll have to do screws inside the cabinet, which will be visible, but I mean, it could be worse. Wow, let's just try to get this cabinet up, and then we'll take it one step at a time. So I've got these holes in the cabinet and I've got screws started in there. But before I put this cabinet up, I really want to get a cleat here. That way I have something meatier, kind of like this at the top. When I put the screws through, then I know that it'll space out and it won't try to bow this cabinet in while it has a lot of load on it. So I think I'm going to stop, run up the store, grab some ply, I'll rip a cleat, and then I'll come back, I'll toss it in, and we'll get this cabinet finally installed on the wall. I can't believe it, but I think we're actually ready to hang this cabinet. Okay, it needs to be slightly shimmed out this way. I know it needs to be shimmed this way. Not very much. So this is where it gets a little confusing. I know that the bottom needs to swing this way. I can just loosen these screws here, shim the bottom, and then you're good to go. However, because it looks like the cabinet needs to tilt this way, just a little this way, then I need to loosen all the screws except for just the top corner, top right corner here on this wall. And that'll let the bottom swing. So I need to do that first. Loosen all these screws, and shim under the back of this side to push it out a little, and then once I get that right, level plumb this way, I can then shim under here on this way to pull it out, and then we'll get it perfectly plumb. Now that's actually pretty good. I shimmed it too much. That looks pretty good. That looks really nice. That looks really nice. That looks a little off, but it has to be the way that they built the frame. Okay, I'm calling this done. I'm going to just go ahead and screw everything I got. And I need to, because this corner is not square, I need to make sure that this back is firm against it. So there's a slight gap here because of the squareness, the not squareness. So I'll have to shim this before I just screw that screw in. Otherwise it'll pull the cabinet out of square. I measured out these screws, but they were slightly off. It's definitely holding. Just a little bit more. Okay, I'll take that. Now let's just triple check everything. That is really good. Very good. Very good. Pretty damn close. Okay, so this cabinet's pretty good now. It's plumb vertical this way and back here against this style that way, here and here. So that's how you know you're in good shape. Now you gotta watch sometimes, because if you just put a level like right here, it says it's not level, but I guarantee you it's this piece of wood. And what is more important is that this piece of wood is level, because that's what the cabinets bump into. That's what they butt against, and that's what they're attached to. So much more important is that this is plumb, and this is plumb, than that the bottom is level, because that's really inconsequential. There's no cabinet mounted under here. So right now, just going to prep this next cabinet, and we'll try to make some headway. Nothing there. It'll be okay because I'll have screws holding it on the upper part of this cabinet, and I'll have those trim screws going through the stile into this corner cabinet. And once I get this adjoining cabinet installed, there'll be screws on the top and bottom of that and going through the stile. So it's not good, but it's not that bad. Let's just get it prepped, we'll get it up there, and we'll just keep on moving along. 9 3/4. So the issue is this section on this side is actually plumb. This space right here is not. So you would say, well, how can that be? And honestly, it may be just that the wood itself is not any good. But what we're going to try to do is fake that out and shim the bottom of this corner out. Try to make that as good as we can. That is really close. Let's just double check everything. That is pretty good. Pretty good. Now this isn't level, and I want to try to fix that. If I pull this down just a little, let it fall down a little on its own weight, that will make this tilt out and it will make it right. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that too. So we'll move on to the next cabinet. Now these are cabinet clamps. They clamp around the stile, and then this pushes pressure, so these both line up. That is very, very tight. That is perfect. Needs to shim out. Okay, I like that. So because I want to do crown molding on here, you want to make sure that this is flat, not that it zigzags back and forth with every slight modification. So what I need to start doing now is I need to set that on the cabinet and make sure that it planes well, and that looks fine. Because that way, when you put the crown on, you know that you won't have slight gaps. I mean, you might have very subtle hairline gaps, but there's almost nothing you can do with that, and you just hope that the nails take up that slack. So, knowing that that looks good, I can snug this top right screw here on the cabinet, and then plumb out this side, and we should be good to go. let's move on. It's a 15-inch cabinet next. So here's an example of where it's very obvious that this cabinet comes out too far. So I need to push this cabinet in, and then I'll use this screw here to hold it. Good. Well, I only got 4 cabinets put up today, but I think after seeing the beginning of this clip, you'll understand why. The floor's not level, the wall's not square, and wow, just getting started was the hardest part. So I'm going to clean everything up, and I'll see you in the next clip where we'll get the outlet put in, we'll finish these wall cabinets for sure, maybe even get into the base. So I'll see you then.